What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another late night in the BrewLab with me, Lone Fox, your brewmaster in chief. And tonight in the BrewLab, I'm coming at you with WOOBERG Dragons. It was gonna be the Kraken's deck that we actually ended up having win on the polls. Some of the votes were cast well after I'd finished recording and already went to bed after doing yesterday's Golgari brew. So actually it does appear as though my viewers would rather see the Kraken's list. But now, in retrospect, having played it today in preparation for this video, it's lacking, it's too slow. It's just way too slow. What I'll do is I'll show you it so you can have a laugh. But we're going to be focusing on WOOBERG Dragons tonight, which was the third option in the polls. Unfortunately, it's the one you guys wanted the least, but it's the one that's working the best. I was trying to flip Runo Stormkirk into Crothis, Lord of the Deep. Problem is, okay, the creature needs to be mana value 6 or greater for it to transform, so it has to be the Hullbreaker. And there's only 3 of those in the deck, and, you know, making sure that you have one on turn 2 to discard to the Tainted Indulgence so that it's in your yard, so that you can play your Stormkirk, put it on top of your library, then when it, you know, next turn, then you flip it. Then you still have to have a Reservoir Kraken in play, and then attack with the with both of them, and then you might start making some copies of these I mean, it's just too many loops to get through before you start doing the thing. But Crothis is one of those cards like that just seemed really sweet, and then just that's why I've been trying my best to kind of bring back some of these older cards, especially the ones that were particularly hard to flip. I did a little time playing around with Ormondal the Corruptor, which is also a really fun one to try and get to. This one's a little easier probably than that one, but just then the subsequent steps to actually start getting value after, you know, navigating through all of those steps without dying in the meanwhile is just not worth it for now. So we may have to come and have a look at this guy again if we get some better Krakens and things in the format, but for now this was my best attempt, and I got some pretty fun wins where I did actually get to do the thing, but really most of the times, especially on the rank ladder, I was just getting slammed down by mono white by like turn 4 and Boros burn by turn 4. So yeah, we'll have to relegate this one to the maybe pile and have a look and see if I can upgrade it in the coming days. But for tonight, we're looking at WOOBERG Dragons. So without further ado, let's jump into tonight's brew. WOOBERG Dragons. It's been really fun also. Definitely taking this for a spin on the unranked ladder. I've painstakingly clawed my way into Diamond 2, and I don't want to lose my rank. But this is actually potentially quite good. We may need to see about just making it purely Jund, so the mana's a little bit better, and then try and like go more into the 3 dragons over here and just give up with the 5 color stuff. That might be one way to go about it. But anyway, I'm getting lost here. Let's take it from the top. I've got a full playset of Dragon's Fire. I mean, it's a dragon deck. Why wouldn't you play Dragon's Fire? You can often have it do, you know, 7 damage for 2 mana because you've got one of these big boys in your hand or whatever. So really nice. Then we've got Orb of Dragonkind. This is essential in the deck to fix our mana as well as help us ramp into our dragons a little bit sooner. And then later on in the game, you can sacrifice it to tutor a dragon off the top 7 cards of your library, so pretty nice. Then, Heated Debate, we needed some more removal. We do, of course, also have the Kami War up here on the very top end, which is removal, but until then, we need some stuff, right? And because there's no way to really run a decent sweeper in this deck, I'm just going with some of the best targeted removal that red can throw at us. And why am I focusing so much on the green and red? Well, because of the mana, right? I mean, the World Tree is green. It's one of the main fixes we have in the deck to fix up the rest of the mana. And then if you focus mostly on red and green as your first sort of 4 cards in the deck, you know, up to your 4-drop slot, then you can you know, put a lot more of the duals and basics in those colors and make sure that you curve out, and then you know, you'll start doing your treasure shenanigans and all of the Dragon-Kind and shenanigans so that you can cast your other stuff later on. So as I said, the first up to the 4-drop slot cards in the deck are all red and green. The next card is the Dragon-Kami Reborn. Now, this is essential. I finally get to play with this card. I've been meaning to for a long time, but the important piece of text that I want to bring your attention to is on the flipped side, the Kami's egg. It says, when it or a dragon you control dies. So in other decks that I had going and others that I've seen, like, people are just having it die and then you get one thing for free. And it was just a bit wonky. This deck where I'm like specifically trying to go out of my way to feed all of my dragons with really good death triggers, namely the spirit dragons from Kamigawa, to my Ziatora as fodder for her fling cannon. Every time one of those dragons dies, not only do you get the damage from Ziatora, the amazing death triggers that they all have, which we'll get to in a second, but you also trigger the Dragon-Kami's egg and potentially get another dragon for free that you previously exiled with the front side of the saga. So lots of cool little synergies. It just takes a little while to get the ball rolling. Another huge sort of helper is Atsushi, which is why it's the only one of these dragons that is a 4 of. Because when it dies, it makes 3 treasure tokens. And those are going to help you cast the rest of the stuff in your deck. So you kind of want it to die. When you play it out on turn 4, you can just use it willy-nilly to chump block or whatever. Hopefully it doesn't get Vanishing Burst. And then you get, not only would you get the triggers maybe off of your Dragon-Kami's egg if it's, flipped by then, but you'll also get those treasure tokens, which are invaluable when you're trying to cast, white stuff with 2 whites and, whatever. And then, of course, all of our crazy multicolored top end over here. But then we get to the 5 drops, and these are all Kamigawa Neon Dynasty Dragon Spirits. They're all legendary, so you wouldn't really want to have more than 2 of, I don't think. But it's cool that if you do have one in play and another one in hand, you can just play the other one, and then the legendary rule means that one of them dies and you get the death trigger, that way, which is also quite cool. But, okay, so the death triggers, they're all kind of great in the deck. We've got Heir of the Dawn Sky. You get to look at the top 7 cards of your library, put any number of non-land permanents with total mana value 4 or less from among them onto the battlefield. So you could end up finding, an Atsushi or a Dragon-Kami's egg and an orb or something like that. So pretty sweet. Sorry, a Dragon-Kami's egg or an orb. But most of the time, that first mode is actually the worst in this deck because there's not too many, 4 and less that you're too interested in. 2 of the major ones here are instants and sorceries, which you can't get. So you're hoping to end up having some creatures on the board upon which to distribute the 2+1/+1 counters that the second option would give you. Then we've got Junji, which is great for snagging maybe one of the opponent's creatures. When it dies, you either get them to discard 2 cards and lose 2 life, which is also really nice sometimes, depends on the opponent and the matchup. But, being able to grab a non-dragon creature card from a graveyard and putting it onto the battlefield under your control for just 2 life is pretty great. Then we've got Kura the Boundless Sky, which is probably the most important one. If we had to cut anything, I might go like down to 0 AOs and just put 3 of these. Because this one, when it dies, the first one is relevant, especially in a deck where we're trying to fix our mana so much so that we can get to our big stuff here on the top end. We get to search your library for up to 3 land cards. It doesn't specify which. It can be any land. No basics, no forests, no whatever. So you can go fetch up, 3 of these, or, a world tree and whatever else your color you're missing. It's very nice to sort of get all of the right things into your hand that you're going to need to then cast your Kami War. Then the second option makes the Spirit, which can be pretty big if you've got a lot of land. So also potentially very relevant death trigger. You attack in this ideal world where we finally get it all to go off, and you attack with your Ziatora and your Kura. That's 10 damage. Then at the end step, you fling the Kura to the opponent for another 4 damage. Then you get the 3 treasures off of Ziatora, and you get the however size spirit that gives you something else left on board that the following turn you can again fling with Ziatora. I mean, it's pretty amazing. Then we've got some of the Adventures in the Forgotten Realms dragons, which are pretty good in the deck, actually. Inferno of Starmounts, amazing. Like, you know, when you sort of get to that point in the game where you're tapped out, you've got no cards left, and then you top deck a Tiamat, drop the Tiamat, you bring 5 dragons cards not named it to your hand, so you get, you know, whatever. You just grab one of every different kind of dragon, and you get an Inferno, and you can just untap and you know, get in with a hasty boy. Is really, really powerful. You know, the 12 damage plus 6 is 18. If you have Ziatora in play your Inferno, swing in for 12, sack the Inferno to the Ziatora, get him for another 6, is also really powerful. You know, lots of good stuff that you could do with the Inferno. It also being uncounterable, really nice. And then Old Gnawbone, just the treasures, baby. We can then just do ridiculous stuff with all of that treasure. If we ever get to have an Old Gnawbone in play and a few of our creatures get through for damage, it's just damage. Triggers, treasures. And then over here in the top end, we've got some multicolored stuff. Ziatora, I've already touched upon. Kind of where we're trying to feed all of these dragons into, like I've mentioned. Then we got full playset of the Kami War, which of course the back end, when it does eventually flip, is also a dragon. So we get to exile a non-land permanent, then we get to return up to 1 target permanent to its owner's hand, so it could be one of ours potentially if we may want to reset a Dragon-Kami. Pretty nice. And then eventually we get Okagachi, which is great because we've been sacrificing all of these dragons along the way, and they'll be in your graveyard, and a lot of them are quite expensive. And how this is worded is, whenever it attacks, defending player chooses, so they get to choose, a non-land card in your graveyard. You return that card to your hand. More dragons to keep doing dragon stuff. Great, right? And the Okagachi made manifest gains plus X plus O until end of turn, where X is the mana value of that card. So, I mean, he's obviously going to start trying to go for, you know, the opponent is incentivized to pick the lowest cards with the lowest mana value so that Okagachi gets less of a buff. So you'll start, you know, he'll probably send back some of the cheaper things that you cast earlier in the game. But otherwise, you just start getting back all of this gas. Like, you know, there are certain games where this is all you have in your graveyard. Then your creature, I mean, your Okagachi gets plus 5 plus X. And you get back another dragon that you can cast again for, you know, sacrificing to the Ziatora. It's really crazy. Like, if you get into one of those cool, like, stalemate late games, everybody's using their decks to their full potential, the kind of shenanigans that you can get up with all of these dragons is actually really, really, really fun. And that brings us to Tiamat, the last card in the deck. Makes sense. It's a dragon deck. We got all the colors. We're trying to go full WOOBERG on their asses, so you might as well play a Tiamat. It's a 7/7 flyer, and when it ETBs, you just restock your whole hand with more dragons. And that's the deck. As far as the mana base goes, I'm trying this out. Seems pretty interesting way to go about it. Just like put one of each of these so that I can, you know, as I said, we can fetch them up a few different ways. We can also, you know, use the world tree to smooth our mana, because once we have 6 lands in play, they can just all tap for any color. Don't forget, in a pinch, it's come up once where you just desperately need a creature. Tiamat is a god, so you can tutor Tiamat with the world tree. Just remember, that means it hasn't been cast, so you wouldn't get the ETB trigger, because this requires the card to have been cast from your hand, not tutored for free. But sometimes just getting a 7/7 on the board, regardless of the ETB trigger, is the way to go. So just something else to keep in mind. And that's it. That's the deck. WOOBERG Dragons. Let's jump into some games. Definitely going to take this for a spin, as I said, on the unranked ladder. Standard, best of 1. I'm just going to do a couple days of unranked while I get into Mythic. I did mention it yesterday. I'm trying to just get there a bit faster this season, so that will require me just playing like net decks non-stop. 2 Junjis in hand. None of our red stuff, really. 3 lander, though. Nope. Wow, that's pretty terrible. But okay. I'm not going to mulligan twice on the play. Okay, free win. My gold is starting to get nice and juicy again. I'm sitting on like 14 something K. Would love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments. Like, where should I spend my cash to get some good Explorer cards? Two land hand. We got the orb. Alright. I'll give it a whirl. We just need a third land. And we're cooking. Wish it wasn't a tap land. There. I need to zap you. Oh no. Not the Spellbinder. Maybe he takes my heat to the bed. Oh, okay. Ooh. We have to play the orb out. So we can actually put up a blocker. And if we get another land that is, I think any color really, we could cast AO, which is also really tasty in the sitch. Oh no! Oh no! Brutal Cathar, game over. Wouldn't be too surprising. Ah, yay. FML. FML. Okay. Guess we just have to kill you. Fairly certain he has another one up his sleeve. Oh no. Everybody gets death touch if they attack. I think this is pretty much game over. We don't have a sweeper. There's very little we can do here. Whoopee! Nice. Naya is still just so good in my opinion. Naya humans. Underplayed. I mean, it was very overplayed at one point, but in like different ways now, it's gotten some little upgrades. There's some sweet new cards for it. You can just play Jetmir and a bunch of humans, or I don't know. It still should be a really strong deck. We might have to have a look at Jetmir again in the next couple of days. I only ever really did an episode of brewing with. I haven't done like a Jetmir deck, so Let me know if you want to see the Jetmir deck. Oh, come on. I don't know, have you guys also been noticing the matches take a little longer? Three land hand. But It's nice we got a second red source for the Atsushi. Valorous stance. Okay. Show of confidence? No. Okay. Death touch. Bye bye. I think we go for the spirit. Because now we're gonna play. Ooh. Never mind. It's gonna be Ziatora or the Kami. I think it's a Kami. Skadoosh. Oh, little Mage Quaff deck didn't make it. Play the Azorius colors, mate. You're better off. With the Virtuoso and the Ledger Shredder. So strong that deck, actually. I get beaten by it more times than I care to admit. Still need to make a good one for the channel. Should probably also have a look at that. There's still plenty to do. I've just been avoiding some because it seems like, oh, it's the done thing. But now that we have such a long way to go before the next set comes, I think I need to start just exploring some of the like more obvious decks, you know, that people have already come up with. But like, try and better them as much as possible, because that Azorius Tempo deck has some serious potential, in my opinion. Once they have, like, you know, one of those creatures down, there's 3 of them that are really good. There's that Drake that you target yourself and you draw a card. You have the Virtuoso and you have the Ledger Shredder. And then they just have like 1 blue mana or something. Spell Pierce or Fading Hope or whatever. They're always going to save that creature. Okay. Let's go red. Orb, please land next turn. Please land next turn. So we can go into our Atsushi. No such luck. Let me just get rid of the Wolfie boy. Stuck on 2 lands again. But there we go. Nice. Duh. Fading Hope. All things. Shablam. Death touch, baby. Although he may have a Blizzard Brawl. Of course he does. Of course. Why wouldn't you? Okay, lands. We definitely want one World Tree. Let's get a Veil. We've got the black. Let's get the blue, I guess. Okay, he's going to untap. I think we're just gonna Kami War his Imrith pretty rapidly. Zap. It's a big hit. Oh, that's too much. Also fine, I guess. No, it's not. Can you believe it? Gimmick nonsense. Woo! Very nice. Very nice. Well played. I've actually ended up against that exact deck like more times than I thought would be. So it's a thing. Like it's an actual thing. But mostly in unranked. But like that snow Simic ramp with those creatures. More than once. I remember there was this epic game. I was playing with the wolf deck. All right. Sure. I would love to see something other than my top end. Thank you. Whiff. Should not have put my white land away. That was a big mistake. Should have gone for the other color. Huge mistake. Kick a deck. creature. Interesting. Thanks for the free dragon, matey. Oh, baby! Haha! The one non-dragon in my deck that he could have killed with Power Word Kill. I'm assuming you're gonna go for, like, a Blood Chief's Thirst if you had a second black source. That's a pretty spicy hit right there. Okay, okay. I'm gonna find a way to make one more. Bunch of 3/3s. Woo! I will look at the top 7, please. Thank you for the Atsushi. Nice. Alright. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. Still not getting to go full like end game mode on the guy. But a win's a win. We'll take it. Lord Ribeiro. Opening hand with the World Tree is great because you can just play it straight away and then, you know, hopefully get to that 6 quickly. Hello. It's the rescue run in unranked. I hope he doesn't scoop. This is a great hand. I want to play it out. Come on. Oh man, do I have to concede this? There we go. Vanishing Verse straight away. Wow, lovely. Cool. Let's see if he goes for it. You can destroy artifacts and enchantments with this crowbar. Okay. Thought he would go for the other one. Charming fella. Whiff. The hatch counters count no matter which one of these it is, so we still got the Kura. Unless he's got another verse. They always do. Man, this card is so annoying. It's just the worst. It really just is the worst thing to happen to Magic in a lifetime. Such a pain in my ass. Every single day, 4 copies of Vanishing Verse get cast against me, at least. Okay. Ores of dudes. We've arrived at the 6th mana that we need to cast everything now without any problems, but we also don't have any freaking anything else. This life gain has been really good. We're still on 20.
Feel the energy of battle, then guide it like water. Our swords will cross again. We must protect the people.
Oh, it's whenever it leaves, it still gets the trigger. Should have gone for the samurai. Silly me. Okay. Discard. Nice. Why would you attack? I think we're gonna go for the Junji, baby. Loyal Griff. I think I may have seen this card once. Ever. Trying to do some cool little enter the battlefield shenanigans. Thanks, we needed more lands there, deck. Totally essential. Now there could be a our good friend, the Wandering Emperor. In which case, I'm kind of hoping he goes for the Okagachi over the Junji. What do we got in the yard here for him to pick from? It's all kind of gas. Nice. Cool, 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 cool. No Wandering Emperors yet. Down to 5. It was a mistake to put the Tiamat on the hatching counters because it wouldn't be cast then. Might as well. Sweet, bro. I've run into similar problems trying to find the best deck for that getaway car. You get all these things with ETB triggers so that when you crew it, you can bounce them back, cast them again, but it's not that good. Okay, last match of the night. Let's try and get some Ziatoras and things happening here. J-Knight. You've got to be shitting me, dude. Could have kept that first hand. A march of otherworldly light. Sure, that sucks. Really only have 2 Atsushis available. Still no red mana to cast Atsushi now, so we just keep on dropping Kami's eggs. Thank you for that. I'd love it when you do that. I was kind of hoping you would. Aha. Full on Selesnya landfall deck. Cool. I wonder if there's a Scoot Swarm somewhere in here. Oh yeah. Nice. Come on, just give me a freaking land, mate. So screwed. Whoopee! Oh, we are so screwed. Oh dear. Double lands. This is a real beating, man. Holy cow. GG. Wow. Wow is all I can say. Oh well, that's going to be it for tonight's gameplay footage, guys. We're going to end it on that. Fantastic. You know, you let a landfall deck do its thing for a little bit too long and you don't run sweepers. That's what you get. But jumping back in with my final thoughts, it's definitely a meme deck. It's definitely relegated firmly to the serious jank category, as well as, you know, as the unranked queue, in my opinion. But I just wanted to finally show you guys this one, because it's really fun when it gets going. And if you're feeling down and bored with the meta and you just want to have some fun on the arena, maybe against you know, a direct challenge against some friends, or you just want to go for some fun matches on unranked, then this is the deck for you. But I wouldn't change a thing. Maybe the lands, I'm doing something wrong here, but so far it's been kind of working alright. Didn't get as many Atsushis as I'd hoped on turn 4, which is what kind of the whole plan was. But yeah, that's going to be it for tonight's gameplay footage. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord community, link in the description. I will see you all tomorrow with some fresh brews. And until then, this is Lone Fox from BrewLab, signing out. Peace, y'all.